Improve it, fam. It is me. I've missed you. Where have you been all my life? Okay, here we are. We are back. And today's show means literally so much to me. This is one of my favorite people on planet Earth. Just this planet. She is my former boss, Jenna D'Angelo. And I thought it would be really cool to have her on the show. Let me just tell you a little bit about Jenna D'Angelo before I tell you my version. So Jenna D'Angelo is the managing director of Advanced Resources, which is a human capital firm with expertise in business transformation, HR, data and analytics, and strategic finance. This woman has over 20 years of experience and oversees the national human resources and business transformation practices. Jennifer's expertise is in her consulting her clients and network on resourcing strategies to optimize organizational effectiveness. She's an avid networker, and she has created peer executive networking groups to foster idea sharing and connections during these unique times. That describes Jen in a nutshell, but the Jen I know is the most authentic leader, and she has had such an impact on my life today. You'll hear us talk about this in the show. But first of all, Jen hired me through a video that I did to be on the Oprah Winfrey Network. That is a fact. I had this video that was circulating in like 2010. Oprah Winfrey was starting OWN. And some people in the office that I had known and done a temp job before saw the video, and Jen saw it and said, "Who is this? She needs to work here." And so I had reached out to them to find a job. It was a recruiting firm. And instead of placing me somewhere, they hired me internally. And it was through a phone call. Literally, I did not even meet Jen in person. It was through a phone call. And just through the phone, I knew that this woman was just special. And to this day, she is still a dear friend of mine. My entire family knows and loves her. Not only did she give me this job, but she also helped me and encouraged me to continue doing improv after work. She took an investment in the things that I truly enjoyed doing. And when I came up with this idea for Improve It, she was the very first person who told me that I must do it. And she actually encouraged me to talk to one of our clients at our recruiting firm, United Airlines. And I did. And that was the very first client Improve It ever had. And we had just a great relationship with United in those very first few years. And it's all because of her. And to this day, she is one of my biggest cheerleaders, and I am a champion of her. And I am so excited for her to come on the show today, because when I was thinking about the month of February, we're thinking about love and Valentine's Day and Black History Month. And we're trying to really create this opportunity here at Improve It for us to talk about authenticity and showing up as your real self. And when I think about somebody who shows up as a real self, I went straight to Jen and I thought, wow, this is what this audience needs. Improve It fam, you're in for such a treat. She is going to give us 3 secrets on how to lead with authenticity. And I will just tell you first and foremost that we cover a lot of ground. We talk about what she likes most about being a leader, why seeing people and meeting them where they're at is such an important trait. The 3 secrets are secrets that you know, but secrets that if you can apply them to your leadership style will transform the way that your team sees you. And we just have so much fun. So enjoy this episode with Jenna D'Angelo, my former boss, my dear friend. I know you are going to love her. Let's do it.
Are you a leader or change maker inside of your business, organization, or corporation? Are you looking for new, innovative ways to drive morale through the roof? Are you looking for fun and exciting icebreakers, team building exercises, and activities that will foster team growth, friendships, loyalty, and completely transform your organization from the inside out? Have you been searching for a fun and unique way to create change instead of the same old dry, boring leadership books and icebreakers that aren't actually working? Hi, I'm Erin, business improv edutainer, fail fluencer, and professional Zombie who is ready to help you improve it. My mission in life is to help you develop teams and leaders through play, improv, and experiential learning. In this podcast, we will deep dive into professional development, team building, effective communication, networking, presentation skills, leadership training, how to think more quickly on your feet, and everything in between. We have helped everyone from Fortune 500 companies to small mom and pop shops transform their business, their leadership, and their people through play. So grab your chicken hat. We are about to have some fun. Welcome to Improve It, the podcast.
Jennifer D'Angelo, danga. I'm happy that you were on the show. And, I just bragged about you to the audience before our Improve It fam, before we hit record. So know that you've been built up, as you already know. That is why you are here, because you are literally one of my favorite human beings.
Oh.
So I want you to tell our Improve It fam a fun fact about you that we couldn't find on your bio or your LinkedIn profile. What's something fun about Jenna D'Angelo that we don't know?
All right. Well, my dog got a really bad haircut like a month ago. They had to shave his ears, and he looks a little bit like a gremlin. So they felt so bad, they put a bow tie on him. So basically, my fun fact is I have a little dog that runs around with a bow tie for the last month, and I take him places, and people look at me like I'm crazy.
And I know this dog, Jasper. This dog, Jasper, is what inspired me to get Big Deal. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes.
It really was. It really
my
was.
Little tiny terror.
Well, and I remember I was like, I need it. You're like, I love this dog. At the time, I didn't have a child. I was like, I need a furry friend. And so you inspired Big Deal, among many things. Okay. You are now the managing director at Advanced Resources, which is a huge, amazing recruiting firm. How did this role come to be? And tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now.
Well, how this role came to be is because of the one and only you, Miss Erin Deal. And I could not be more thankful. Basically, I had been with the same partners for quite some time, and it wasn't going anywhere. There was no future and anything. And so I came to you, just who can I talk to? I haven't looked for a job in, over 20 years. And what are good companies? Who should I connect with? And that, even though this is what I do for a living, and you made the connection to Advanced Resources and to John Jelinek, which it's just been a blast, just a fun, wild ride. The division, so I lead our HR and business transformation practice nationally. So it's been an amazing ride.
First of all, full circle moment, because you took a chance on me with the Oprah video. That's how I got my job with you. Do you know that I really didn't even interview except over the phone, but you saw a video of me wanting to be on the Oprah, to create my own Oprah show. And then you were the first person who said, go do this idea for Improve It. So that's literally, I say, you created this monster, okay? And then it was the least I could do after you gave me a job. And then the thing that I'm doing the rest of my life, to say, hey, I know this human being who helps people find jobs, and he's really awesome. And then he was like, I love Jen. I need Jen. And it's so funny the way the world works. It works.
I'll never forget seeing you on that video. I was like, two people in the office were looking at it, and I was like, who is that? I'm like, she used to work here before. And I'm like, we need to get her back like now.
Oh my God. That was pre-TikTok, pre like any type of video content that would go out in the world. That was just my friend Dustin brought his huge video camera to my apartment, and we had to it was like old school video. There were no video phones. We barely had anything less than one of those cameras you dropped off with the the disposable cameras. I think they still were. I don't even know if digital cameras existed back then, but here we are. Full
circle. So thank you again. You sent a wonderful note and made the connection. And, I absolutely love it here.
Oh, well, they love you. And I know that for a fact. And I can say this because I loved working with you, for you. You were obviously my former boss, my confidant, my prank advisor. We'll get into that. My friend. And you literally made work so much fun for me, for everybody who works with you and for you. And you pushed me to start improve it. So I want to ask you this because I know you're leading a team now. How many people are you currently leading in your role now?
I have 4 and adding.
And do they have direct reports as well?
No.
And but let me say this, Jen managed this group. How many of us? Like 10 to 12 of us in a recruiting firm of all women. And there literally was not a day that went by that I wasn't like, I cannot wait to see what we do today. Like we would just dress up in ridiculous costumes and go to our clients. We would do prank people in the building that we loved with love, pranks with love. Mostly the gym manager, Katie Folkma-Boyke, if you're listening, we're sorry. But it was also really fun. And you loved it. And we just had such a good time. And it wasn't just for me. Everybody loved working with you. And you celebrated every birthday, every anniversary, everything, every milestone and goal that we came to together. You made it fun. And the work had to be done because that's what we were there to do. But you really just led from this place of, I'm Jen, I like to have fun, and that's what we're going to do because that's the way it goes around here. And that to me was, I never thought I would be in recruiting, but I loved working with and for you. Like I was like, I cannot leave this. This is amazing. So let me ask you this. What do you like most about being a leader?
I think, it's just how everyone engages with each other, like just the relationships, that everyone forms. During the pandemic, my goodness, no one was recruiting during that time. Our business was down to almost, 20% of what we were doing, overall, and scary time. But instead of where some teams would be gloom and doom and, oh no, what are we going to do? And panicking. Everyone bonded together, as a unit and came up with different and creative ideas and helped us to rebuild to now this year it was 300% to budget. So in the highest we've ever been, but it was, the power of attitude and learning from people on the team, being inspired, by those that I work with, the camaraderie, everything involved. So, during that time, it really, it made me proud, to work with this team and to see what we can do and brought us really close together.
And I love that so much. And I will say, knowing all of those things, you were always finding inspiration in other areas. You would see something and be like, oh, I just saw this. We should try this promotion for our clients. Or, oh, that's a good idea. And you're the epitome of yes and to me. Like when I tell people, this is what Improve It is all about. But literally, you embody it and you've never taken an improv class in your life, ever. And you would be hilarious at it. People have told you. But you always make people feel good for sharing their ideas. What's your least favorite thing about leading a team?
It's when you get one bad apple, where, no, that's not going to work. Or it comes, with the, they drain the energy out of the room. And when you get one that just doesn't participate, like doesn't give 100% of themselves every day, and the rest of the team has to pick up the slack for it. That's the least thing I like is to, have to work with that situation and, remove it from the equation.
But then when you do, it makes the rest of the equation work.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
X minus Y equals
Yes.
yay. Okay. Yes.
Exactly.
Well, let me ask you this. So you've always been able, and I've known you now, Jen, I feel like I started working with you in 2011. So 12 to 11 years. 11 years.
Unbelievable.
And you were there for so many milestones in my life. Literally, you were there when I got engaged. You were there when I got married. You came to our wedding in Charleston. You were there a couple weeks after Jackson was born, sitting on my roof deck with me. Like we were just, you've just always
You're like
been
family.
well, right. And that's how I feel like you just present yourself as you see people as who they are, you meet them where they are. And that's just something that has always been a strong suit for you. And I want to know, is this a trait that you intentionally developed, or is this something that just comes natural? Has this always been who Jen is?
I feel like it wasn't intentional to begin with, but then, when you see the effect, even on those that you may not be as close to, you make it intentional. So thank you for the compliment. I mean, that's just the biggest compliment I could ever receive. So I'm so appreciative of that, but definitely have to be intentional about that in order to build the strongest relationships on your team.
Yeah. And that I think is something that you've always, as a leader, just known how to do. And when I mention those milestones, it's because during each one of those milestones, those were pivotal moments in my life. And I'll never forget. I remember when I got engaged and you were like, well, we lost an employee today. and but you knew that it was so important. And I remember, Jen, I have so many stories that I should share with the Improve It fam. You and I were looking up rings on computers, trying to send random emails to John from anonymous emails. Like, this is the one. But it was, see, that's again, you made work fun. You met me where I was. You found joy in what I found joy in. And you did that for every single person who's ever worked for you. You really leaned into what are they going through? How can I be empathetic to them while also getting the work done? And it's just a trait that you don't find. So this is why I wanted you to come on the show. This is February. We're getting close to Valentine's Day. And I want to talk about loving your leadership styles because, again, you've just been this authentic leader. You've just led from you, and it's your way. You're not reading all these leadership books. You're not, and I know you've read books and you've done trainings, but you're not sitting on your nightstand and you're not referencing quotes every day. You're and you're just leading from within. And I wanted to bring you on the show because you mean so much to me. And I know you were talking about this before we hit record. I did this post on LinkedIn, I don't know, like 3 months ago, because we were talking about leadership on this show. And I thought to myself, well, who isn't a leader I just really admire? And the first person came to my mind was you. And I posted it on LinkedIn. And it was this picture of you and I in these witch costumes from Halloween. Oh, it was around Halloween. That's when it was. And best picture ever. We're in witch costumes. We were passing out witch's brew, which was, I think, root beer that we had labels made for our clients because we couldn't drop off real beer. And we were going to our clients and dropping off witch's brew and witch costumes, like to their corporate offices. And I had this picture and I just posted a caption about how important you are to me as a leader. And then I post on LinkedIn almost every day. This picture got the most views that I've ever gotten on any picture I've ever posted, and the most authentic floodgate of comments because a lot of people, knew you, had you as a leader, or saw something in that post that reminded them of the leader that they know and respect. But so many people love you, and you've just affected their lives in such a positive way. You changed my life. Like, I literally would not be sitting here if you did not encourage me to do it. I tell you that from my heart, and I could cry. I might
Thank
cry.
you.
I mean that. Like, I really do, because I always say this, and every time everybody's like, well, how did Improve It come to be? I say my boss, my biggest cheerleader at the time, was like, you have to do this. Pitch yourself to United Airlines. And I did because of you. And
I knew you would
kept building.
huge things. And from the minute I saw you on the video, the audition video to when we hired, I was like, I know I'll have her for a moment in time to help with sales, but she will be off to do something fabulous. And I'll never forget when you shared the idea with me and the vision. I knew it was brilliant and everything that embodied who you were. And I had no doubt it was going to be the most amazing thing. So
I'm not crying. You're crying. Okay. Here's me. This is me, like trying not to crack my voice. No, but it's so true. It's, and then I will never forget. I had told you about this idea. We had kind of kept it quiet for a little bit. And I said, I'll pitch it to our CEO at the time. And it was because I said, we'll sell this as part of our offerings at our recruiting firm.
It was brilliant.
And they didn't go for it. And so we said, okay, we're going to go the other route. I'm going to go on my own. And then there was that competition in Chicago, the Red Eye Big Idea Awards, where people had to vote for the next best entrepreneurial idea in the city. And that's when I sort of let the cat out of the bag that this was happening. And then you and the entire team showed up the night that the public came out to vote, and we ended up winning, and it meant so much to me. And that's you knew that I wasn't going to continue on working with you, and you saw the light and you said, this is where she's supposed to go. And I know, because I literally and by the way, not only did you do that, but you also gave me a scavenger hunt with a GoPro cam around the building. I still don't have that footage.
My favorite going away party ever.
It was so fun. There was a t-shirt made. And I would go to all the people in our building, from the security guards. There was clues hidden everywhere, protein bar, our favorite lunch spot. Anyway, so this is just to fill, the Improve It audience in on how much you know and love the people and do things that make them feel important. So, Improve It fam, this is what you've been waiting for. You are going to tell us 3 secrets that you would tell any leader that would help them harness their authenticity. So if you could tell them 3 secrets to lead like Jenna D'Angelo, what would those 3 secrets be?
I think the biggest thing is getting to know the people on your team, like authentically, really get to know the folks and build that comfort level. Like to your point, when you were leaving, we had an open relationship where you could always share with me, and that's what I tell everyone on the team. Like, just tell me where you're at all times. Because if I don't know, I can't fix it. If it's something that's not, something that's wrong and I don't know about it, or if you're looking to move on for something bigger, if I can't help develop that here, I will support it. And you're never going to lose your job by being honest and open with me. So, not only for that purpose, but just for many other reasons. The other thing, which you already spoke about, but celebrating the successes, and again, not a gift box from corporate that everyone gets the same thing, like a mug or whatever. Like, really take the time, to celebrate the milestones, the homes, the babies, you get a dog, anything and everything. And the tough times, a loss of someone in your family, like people never forget, the way you support them. And, it really inspires the entire team. And then the last thing I would say is always offer development opportunities and, understand where people are at and meet them where they're at to help them grow in the way that they're interested, not just what you're interested in doing. So I would say those 3 things are key.
I love them. I was taking notes and I love that so much. So you said, get to know your people, tell me where you're at. And that is so, I think, easy to say right now. But in those moments where, there is that one bad egg and you're constantly thinking about how do I engage them or how do I bring them in? How do I make them feel heard and seen? Forgetting to ask them, just tell me where you're at. It happens because we're creating these other stories in our minds, right? And so you just coming at it very authentically, that's a hard word to say sentence, authentically. I always felt like I could tell you anything. I always felt like if something wasn't working or if I was struggling in a certain area, I wasn't afraid to say it or ask you. And it never, because you were open, that never made me feel like I wasn't doing my job or I didn't know how to do my job. It was just like, because that open relationship exists, I can ask questions. And I remember I was terrified to even ask you to go part-time at the company we were at. You know, I was so scared, and you were like, "No, we're going to do this." And you figured out a way to make that happen.
But I think too, as a leader, you have to be ready. Like, don't act like you're open. And, if something hard or something you don't want to hear comes your way, react to it. Because there are those that I'm sure people have met out there too. Like, tell me anything. And then you do, and they don't take it the right way,
Yeah.
So that's a big component.
And you keeping your cool if the answer, that's, I think, one of the biggest takeaways too for me with you is that knowing that you, even if the answer wasn't what you, or the question wasn't something you wanted to hear, you would, this was my favorite Jen quote. That's interesting. Remember that?
That's the word I use.
And so, that's interesting. Let me think about that. But again, you're using yes and. You're not negating. You're just saying it's not a no. You're not judging. Let me think about that. So I love that. But it's asking people or getting to know them so they feel comfortable enough that they can come to you, and you feel comfortable enough asking them, tell me where you're at. And most likely, because you're so comfortable with them and you know them and you know what's going on because you have that open dialogue, you're not going to be surprised when they tell you where they're at and what's going on because you kind of already have an understanding. And then you said, celebrate the success and support during the tough times. And this, Jen, is, I will always be grateful for you for this because you taught me how to be a good leader in that. That truly, even as you were saying this, I'm thinking every person who had a baby shower or had a baby, they had a baby shower. Every engagement, there was an engagement party. We were a small team of 10 or 12 at times. And we would do every little thing that needed a celebration. We would do it Fridays. We would end at 4 and we would say, okay, if all things are done, if all things are in place, we're going to hang out in the break room and just have fun and enjoy ourselves and get to know each other on that level. And I'll always be grateful for that because that's where we came back together on Monday morning and we felt closer after those moments, and we can get through a lot of the tough times. And I really think celebrating every single person, every anniversary, every birthday, every milestone in their life was celebrated in that office. And you just felt seen. You just felt like you mattered. I'll never forget my 30th birthday. Again, I'm coming up with milestones here. I walk in, you even used my best friend as part of the surprise. We always would put people's pictures all over their desks and just, print those out and
totally humiliate them.
Totally humiliate. But I had all these things waiting on my desk, and Betsy, my best friend, helped with the surprise. And, there was just so much that you did. And I will never forget those things. I mean, I'm sitting here, however many years later, still reminiscing. And
you did that. Yeah. You created that idea. Your creativity around the idea really added to the fun factor.
I mean, that was.
You would take it up a notch, and I can't thank you enough.
Every birthday we did that for every person. So everybody got that on their birthday. And then the development opportunities. I mean, again, I really think that is so important. I'll just never forget a lot of the lessons that I received, even going to networking events with you. You taught me just by bringing me along with you how to network, how to build relationships, how to get to know people. So as a leader, if you're listening today and you're thinking, well, we don't have budget to invest in some type of leadership training or in type of training for whatever avenue your team is in, take them to a networking event with you. Have them shadow you doing something that's free and give them that invested development. You showed me so many things I know you probably knew you were doing it, but those things really, if you have the people who are there to sponge it up, they will intentionally find the learning in those moments. And it's so beneficial than having them just sit behind a desk all day, right? Even if it's virtual work, bring them on a different call with you and have them attend an event in their area. It's so easy. And those three things, I think, are what make you, Jen, the best leader, the most authentic leader in my mind.
Thank you, Erin. I think the same about you. I think the world of you. You are an incredible leader, an incredible human being, and, lucky to have worked with you and to have you as a friend.
Well, the feeling is very mutual. And here's a question I have for you. So we say it, improve it. Your it is the thing that means the most to you, or that thing that you feel like you are put here to do. So if you could say, what is Jen D'Angelo's it? What is the thing that you feel like you're put here to do?
I guess in a work-related way, it's to help people find meaningful jobs, like meaningful, fulfilling work in their life, whether it's internal or external with our clients or candidates. And that's fun for me. Like, it's the best reward I can get is when someone is super happy when they've landed in a job or got a new job or accomplished some milestone.
And it's very genuine. I want everybody listening to know that. She really does care. She can see and spot a placement a mile away, and she'll know who belongs with which leader and who belongs in which company. She helped my brother get a job. She gave me a job. She's given so many people that I know opportunities that they wouldn't have had. And you're such a guiding light in that. And I know after being in recruiting for a while, sometimes recruiters don't have the best reputation. And Jen is, or there's some slimies. There's some slimies. And I will say this, everybody who knows Jen is just grateful to have the opportunity to know her, because it's a very genuine, heartfelt, you have a gift of seeing people. So
thank you, Erin.
You're welcome. You get so many compliments. You're like, you and I are the worst because we both do not take compliments well. And you're like, oh, God.
I'm like awkward with them. I know. Everyone who knows me knows I'm a total weirdo about compliments. That and close talkers and things like that. That's my other where I get really awkward.
The pat-pats. A million pat-pats.
Compliments and close talking. Yeah.
When Jen hugs, it's a pat-pat. There's there's like the 5th grade middle school dance up, our arm. And then there's the pat on the back. And I love it. And that's why I always say pat-pats. Okay. Well, this is the fun part. You've made it to the end. This is what we call the fail. Lightning round, because in improv, we say there are no mistakes, only gifts. And this is a fun part, Jen. This is a surprise. You ready? Because it's going to be real fun. I'm going to ask you questions, okay? And you are just going to respond with one word, okay? And if you don't give me one word, if you say more than one word, I'm going to say failure, like that in a real creepo voice. Failure, okay? Are you ready for fail? Yeah, Jen.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. One word answers. First question, who is your favorite leader? And their first and last name counts as one word.
Rich.
Oh, okay. Favorite work from home snack?
Pirates. I'm not going to say the second word. Not falling for it, Erin.
Okay. What's the word that best describes your leadership style?
Genuine.
Oh, word that describes your work from home fashion style?
Yoga.
And one word that describes the favorite prank that you and I played in the office?
There's so many.
Failure. What is it?
I was going to Costco.
That is a podcast in itself. That literally to this day, improve it, fam. Just know I had a British accent. There was a pretending to be a Costco customer service representative to a person. And said person thought that they were supposed to go to Costco to receive a prize that they won. And it was genuinely one of the funniest things that Jen and I have ever done.
We pull it off every time. Every prank.
Every prank. And the thing is like, I've thought about it. I'm like, man, should a subset of Improve It be called Prank It? Do we need to create pranks for people in the office?
I think it's absolutely necessary.
I
would love to be a part of it or an advisor of some sort.
Can you be on the board?
I can honestly say I haven't done pranks in a while, and I really need to do some soon.
All right, we'll do it after this call. We'll
thank you.
We've got people on speed dial. We could think about a good a good one. Okay, well, tell the Improve It fam how they can find you if they want to connect with you, and anything else that you want them to know about Jen D'Angelo.
If you want to reach out to me anytime, my email is jdeangelo@advancedresources.com, and would love to connect on LinkedIn, email, phone, whatever. Would love to hear from you.
And you mostly place people in HR professional roles.
HR and business transformation. So, HR professional to consulting and PMO support. So, would love to help.
Love it. So, if you're looking for a job or need help with a company that like Jen's, Advanced Resources, to find a solution to the person that you have been searching for, Jen D'Angelo is your gal. Jen. All right, we're going to put all that in the show notes just so you know. But danga, lover of the pat. That's the Jen hug. And friend, I want you to know I adore you. The Improve It fam now adores you. And I just want to thank you so much for being you and for just leading with authenticity. The world really does need more Jen D'Angelos.
Erin, I love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Improve It family. Oh, man. Such a good episode. And I could talk to her forever. As you can imagine, we spent the first 15 minutes before we hit record just catching up and laughing. It's so funny. We haven't talked on the phone maybe in a couple months, and it's just like time never passed. She's such an important person in my life. And I'm sure after listening to today's episode, you can hear that too. And I want to go back through these 3 secrets to leading with authenticity with you. So number 1, she said, get to know your people and really get to know them. So where you are to ask them a question such as, tell me where you're at, they are able to give you a very honest answer. And at that same time, you aren't surprised by that answer because you have gotten to know them and what drives them. And this conversation is an open dialogue where both parties feel comfortable to be transparent, open, and honest. Number 2, celebrate the success and support during the tough times. You heard us talk about this in the show, but I can't tell you enough how much the things that she did for not only me, but for our teammates still stick in my brain. They're memories. I don't remember sitting down and doing a spreadsheet. I remember the memories that she created. And number 3, always offer development opportunities, which I think is easy to do. There's so many resources out there. So if you don't have a budget, if you can't bring in a company like Improve It, that's okay. Go ahead and find an opportunity that speaks to the needs of the individual and of the human being. All right. Here's what I want you to do. I like to give you a tangible to take away. I am really, when I look at these 3 secrets, all of them speak to me, but the one that really stands out is celebrating the success. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at the calendar that you have in front of you and see any milestones that are coming up. Has anybody had something personal like an engagement or a birthday coming up that you could celebrate together as a team? And I want you to plan something. It does not have to be big, but I want you to plan something to celebrate the individuals on your team. And I also want you to think about this, as Jen mentioned, during the tough times. So if you see somebody struggling, what's a simple thing that you could send to someone today or in the next couple of days that would brighten their day, let them know that you're thinking of them and that you see them as an individual? I could go on and on about this woman, and I'm so grateful she came on the show. I'm so glad you got the opportunity to hear from her. Improve It, fam. If today motivated you, don't forget to get your Hybrid Hype handout. This is a free downloadable PDF that gives you more tangible tips and tricks on how to lead your team. We're going to put that in the show notes for you. It's called Hybrid Hype, and it's literally a tool that gives you actual tangible exercises that you can take into your team and apply today while we have people working from home and people working in the office. So take it with you. That's for you. And then I just want to say to everybody listening, thank you for your time, your energy, for giving this time to you. Keep failing, keep improving, because you know what I'm going to say, the world needs that special it that only you can bring. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Hey friends, thanks for tuning in to Improve It. I am so happy you were along for the ride. If you enjoyed this show, head on over to iTunes to leave us a 5-star review and subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. New episodes drop every Wednesday. Now, if you're really feeling today's show and you've improved it even just a little bit, please take a screenshot and tag me at Keeping It Real Deal on Instagram and share it in your stories. I'll see you next week, but I want to leave you with this thought. What did you improve today, and how will that help your future successful self? Think about it. I am rooting for you, and the world needs that special it that only you can bring. See you next time.